everyone, this is Emily here from Emily Reads. And if you're in the United States, happy Labor Day. I hope that you enjoy your day off. I know I am enjoying my day off by catching up on some chores around the house. I have to lesson plan, and it's also my birthday. So today I have for you the Happy Birthday book tag. And I originally saw this book tag on Mike's channel over at Mike's Book Reviews. I have no idea who the originator of the tag is, so if you are aware of that, please let me know in the comments below so that way that person can get credit. And let's get started. There are 16 books to discuss. I will try to keep this brief, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I have my book journal here, and here we go. So the first prompt is birthday cake, and that is a book with a plot that is a cliche, but you love it anyway. And that book would be Roses for Mama by Jeanette Oak. So I love this book. It came out in 1991. So when I was a freshman in high school, and basically it's about Angela Peterson and her. She has an older brother, and then she's got a few younger siblings, and her parents have passed away. We're in like the 1800s on the West, and her parents have passed away, so she and her older brother are running the family farm and raising their siblings. And of course, there's a romance. It's very cliche, but I enjoy it. It's it's a Christian novel. If you like Hallmark Hall of Fame, you'll like this book. The next prompt is Unopened Gifts, and that is your most anticipated book release. So I've got two. The first one I'll show you. I'm so looking forward to Bloodmarked, which is the sequel to Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, and continuing the story of, I can't remember her name, of Bree Matthews, who gets, she participates in like a high school program at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and like it's an accelerated program, and there she becomes part of like a secret society tied to Arthurian legend and magic, and the sequel in this duology is coming out in November. I'm also looking forward to Legends and Lattes. So I did not buy it when it first came out, and I was like, I've got the Kindle Unlimited version, like I'll be fine. Well, I struggle with reading books on my Kindle. Like if they're like romance, like I'm fine reading stuff on Kindle, but other than that, I really don't read that much on my Kindle app. So I chose to purchase it, but it's like through our the most well-known, through Amazon. But it's now saying that title won't be released until November 8th. So I have it pre-ordered. I'm looking forward to getting Legends and Lattes and reading it. The next prompt, number 3, birthday present, a book that surprised you with how much you loved it. And that would be The Chosen by Chaim Potok. And I read this my 8th grade year of junior high. And it's about two boys. One, Reuven Malter, who he's Orthodox Jewish, and the other, Danny Saunders, he is Hasidic Jewish. And they meet their rivals in a baseball teams, and they meet at a baseball game, and they develop a very unlikely friendship during World War II New York. The next prompt is Happy Birthday Song. Excuse me. Happy Birthday Song, a book that deserves all the hype that it gets. I'm going to choose Robin Hobb, and yes, this is Assassin's Apprentice. However, Realm of the Elderlings deserves all the hype and all the love that you can give it. I'm not going to say any more about this because I feel like if you watch me, you know how much I love Robin Hobb. But um, if you haven't read her, you need to. She's a master at character development. Assassin's Apprentice starts us off on the journey in Realm of Elderlings. Yes, it's 16 books, but it's so well worth it. And this book tells the story of Fitz, who is 6 years old, and he comes to Buckkeep um, as the illegitimate son of the king in waiting. Then the next prompt is Birth Year, a book that was published the year that you were born, and that would be Mind of My Mind by Octavia Eve Butler. And this is I'm not really sure too much about what it is, so I'm going to read the back. It says, for 4,000 years, an immortal has spread the seeds of a revolutionary master race, using the evolutionary master race, using the downtrodden of the underclass as its private breeding stock. I don't know too much about it. I do have plans to read this soon. I thought I was going to read it this year, but I'm probably not going to get to it this year. So hopefully next year. The next prompt is Getting Older. You read it a long time ago and will probably appreciate it more as a mature reader. I don't have the physical copy of this book, but that would be Beloved by Toni Morrison. And I read Beloved in my senior year of high school in my modern U.S. novel class. And Beloved tells the story of Setha, who is a former slave, and she is haunted by the ghost of her daughter, Beloved. And she is haunted because she killed Beloved as a baby. She felt that it would be better for her baby to be dead rather than live the life of a slave. I read this in high school. It was a tough read for high schoolers. I will never forget my teacher, Mr. O'Keefe, coming in one day, and he's sitting down, and he said, "So, does anyone understand what this chapter that you read for homework is about? I have some ideas, but I'm not 100% sure." And we all just kind of looked at each other and were like, we were kind of hoping for you to tell us that answer. But I will never forget that moment because it made me realize, like, teachers don't have all the answers, and it's okay to admit that you don't have all the answers, but to work through and try to find the answers with your students. In addition, I enjoyed Beloved, but I don't think I really appreciated it for what it is at the time, because I was just not a mature enough reader to appreciate the depth of Toni Morrison and the depth and the maturity of that subject matter. Number 7, Sweet Birthday Memories, a book that kept you happy during a sad or tough time. I wouldn't say that this book necessarily kept me happy, but it did get me through a tough time, so I'm going to use that. And that would be The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Neffinger. And I read this in like August, September of 2009. Now, in July of 2009, my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. She passed away Christmas Day, 2009. And I read this during that time because the movie was coming out and I really wanted to see that movie. And this book is about Henry de Tamble, and he is a librarian and he's able to time travel back and forth. And most of that time travel centers around his wife, Claire. And so he meets Claire as a very young girl, and that story takes off. I can't really say too much more about that without it being really spoilery, but how Claire handles things later on in life and the longing that is present in this book, I understood, and it made me very grateful that it helped me like to read someone else's experience of that as I was experiencing longing and grief. The next book is Party Guests. If you could spend your birthday with any fictional character, who would it be and why? I will say this. I don't know if I would have chosen this same character if it wasn't coming right after the book that I just talked about. But we're going to go with it. And that would be Marmee, because she's a mother. And it would be fun to spend a birthday with a mother figure. In addition, I would get a ready-made family, right? And I just grew up with the March girls, and I love them. So I would choose to spend my birthday with Marmee and the March family, knowing that it would be a special, wonderful birthday. Next is Time of Season, a book that takes place in the season I was born, and that would be The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This has been decades since I've read this book. I can't even remember the name of the main character. Yeah, I don't know. But I just have to show you. I mean, it's a beautiful edition. If I could find a nice piece of artwork in here. And it's got some beautiful artwork. So at some point in time, I need to do a reread of this book because I've had this edition for years. I've read it. It's just been years and years and years since I've read this. The next prompt, number 10, is Color of Love, the color of your birthstone. So September's birthstone is blue sapphire, and I chose Taming of the Shrew, which is a blue book. This is the Yale edition of, this is the Yale Shakespeare edition. The reason why I chose Taming of the Shrew is I was an English education major, and my senior thesis in college was on Taming of the Shrew and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. And the topic was women's sexuality as defined by men. So it looked at who are the shrews in Taming of the Shrew and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. What is a shrew? Who are the shrews? And what is involved in taming a shrew? And basically it's violence against women. So that's why I chose Taming of the Shrew. I have a special relationship with this play. Then the next book is Party Anywhere, a book set in a time period, world, or country you want to be born in. So I chose A Discovery of Witches. I love New England. Like when I saw just anytime something is set in New England, I just think it's just so beautiful. And this is also set in Oxford, which I would just love to study at Oxford and study English literature at Oxford. I just think that would be amazing. The next prompt, number 12, is the 30 Plus Club, because I for sure am 30 plus. A book or series with a protagonist 30 plus years. And that would be, I chose Curtain, and this is a bind up of Curtain and the Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. So the Mysterious Affair at Styles is the first mystery that Hercule Poirot appears in. Curtain is his last mystery. I have not read this, I just acquired this, but he for sure is older than 30. Then the next prompt, number 13, Birthday Memories, a book that represents you when you were younger. And that would be The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. I read this so many times in middle school and high school. I cannot remember how many times I've read this. This is the definitive edition, but I read it so much that I had the original edition that was published. So Otto Frank, her father, when he made the decision to publish her diary, took some things out of that diary that he felt was too personal and he did not want to share with the world. I read that edition so much it was beaten up that when my dad purchased this definitive edition, which includes all of the material of her diaries, I knew immediately, like when I first read it, like what was different and what was newly added. Um, and it was because after reading this diary for the first time, I started keeping my own diary and journal. Um, I did get to see the Secret Annex my sophomore year of high school. I went on a band tour with my high school band, and we were in Amsterdam for a day, and I was able to visit the Secret Annex, which is probably one of the best, like the biggest highlight of my life to be able to see that. Then the next prompt, number 14, this birthday, a book that represents where you are at currently in life. And I just started reading this. I'm on page 118, but I'm going to say Fool's Quest, and only because, like, that sounds weird, but Fitz, he's 60, he's feeling older, and he's got aches and pains, and there are other characters who are now older, and they're talking about their aches and pains, and how the fact that they are older, and I'm like, yep, I'm feeling the aches and pains, I'm feeling the getting older, I'm feeling the, is this thing that just happened today to me, is this just like a passing thing, or is this a medical issue that I really need to be concerned about? So I'm feeling the I'm getting older, as is Fitz. Then number 15, every birthday, a book that represents something that has never changed about you. I gotta reach it off the floor, sorry. And that would be The Witch of Blackbird Pond. And this is about Kit Tyler, who she travels from the Bahamas to Connecticut colony, in early colonialism, and she lives with her aunt and uncle. Her parents have both died. She does not have her father became bankrupt, so she goes to live with her aunt and uncle because she's young and needs to live with someone to be taken care of. And obviously, Puritanism. There is a woman near the town who's called the Witch of Blackbird Pond, and I have been fascinated with the Salem witchcraft trials, and like ever since middle school, that the whole psychology behind why do people do the things they do, how did it just explode the way that it did, the psychology behind it, the economy behind it, the politics behind it. It's always fascinated me. And also, Kit Tyler just doesn't really quite fit in. And I'm a introvert. I'm a bookish person, and there have been times where I've had a hard time fitting in because of that. So that's why I identify with that. And just it's about, like I said, that time period I've always been fascinated with. And then last, Happy Music, a book with some very beautiful and memorable quotes. So I don't know if they're beautiful quotes, but for sure memorable, and it's a book that I love, and that would be Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I mean, that opening line is so memorable, just so many different things. Elizabeth's response to Darcy when he proposes to her, very memorable. So that's it, everyone. As far as tagging people, I'll be honest, I don't know whose birthday it is right now on BookTube. I know Evie, you just had a birthday. So Evie, you are now tagged if you see this video. And if you are someone who just had a birthday or about to have a birthday, you are tagged. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you're able to enjoy the day off, and see you soon. Happy reading.